Communicate with Slide Reports by Mats Lingblad. You are busy and probably have a lot of energy. US CEOs spend 72% of their working time in meetings, equivalent to 280 meetings in a typical month. Many of these meetings will include written materials, often in the form of PowerPoint slides. But some presentation slide advice assumes you have time to listen to a speaker. Other presentation slide advice focuses on entertainment to get your attention. But much communication advice wrongly assumes people lack energy and needs to be entertained. Often the only thing you lack is time. Slides must then get the message across quickly. Even if you don't lack time, finishing early is good. You get time to enable discussion. Therefore, we turn to techniques first developed in the management consulting industry in the 1980s. Consultants used to write traditional reports. Starting in the 80s, they changed to slides. First 35mm diapositives in a slide projector. Then, with the help of software like Harvard Graphics and Charisma, transparencies on an overhead projector, eventually superseded by a PowerPoint. The techniques are still not widely known and often forgotten by the consultants. Today is not about presentation slides, but about slide reports. They can be presented, but more often emailed, forwarded, or printed. You will learn to produce slide reports for an audience that's impatient but interested. Slides that get the message across quickly. Slides that are understood if you're not presenting. And slides that save time in preparing the slide report. We have expectations of the upcoming video. I expect to get 4 messages across to you, and I would love to receive comments on the video. You can expect a presentation including practical exercises. When they happen, please stop the video and think about the exercise. I have grouped today's learning around 4 key messages: slide message, layout, 3-part structure, and flow. Let's begin. All slides should have a unique slide message at the top. It's the most expensive real estate on the slide. In the old Monopoly game, it's Boardwalk, Mayfair, Norrmalmstorg, Rue de la Paix, Schlossallee, Ginza, or Sentosa Cove. Slide messages are what you consider the most relevant. A slide message is a full sentence. Writing slide messages is an iterative process. Simple tests to know whether you have a slide message. Does it pass a so what test? Is it interesting? You can also cover up everything except the slide message. Does the audience still gain an understanding of the slide? We will now look at a number of examples. Practice makes perfect. Look at these 4 items relating to the market. How can they be turned into a slide message? Please stop the video and think. We have aggressive competitors grabbing market share. Here is a second example relating to acquisitions. Please stop the video and think. The acquisition will be successful because we applied insights from the last acquisition. Maybe a bit self-serving slide message, but not totally wrong. Here is the second example. Please stop the video and formulate a slide message. The objective is to present a base case forecast of mail volume until 2020. The slide message should be a full sentence, not longer than 2 lines. This is a heading, not a slide message. This slide message is too long. This is not a full sentence. This is a good start. But it's possible to remove unnecessary vocabulary. You might consider it slightly anal, but the benefit of shortening slide messages becomes obvious when the slide report grows. And remember, the average CEO has 280 meetings in a month. If you desperately need to shorten slide messages to stay within 2 lines, it's sometimes possible to remove articles, verbs, or employ other grammatical tricks. Note that shortening is only allowed without losing information. You do not want to go back to writing headings. Here is a slightly more complicated example. Please stop the video and think about a key message. The existing message is wishy-washy. Some sectors will offer more potential than others. That is not an interesting statement. Shale gas in the US offers strong GDP and overall jobs potential is a key message. But it is a slightly odd key message given that the presentation is about manufacturing. If you look at the chart, the annual incremental GDP impact by manufacturing is the smallest of all the sectors in the economy. This is interesting in a presentation about manufacturing. So my suggestion is manufacturing will have a smaller impact on GDP than other sectors. Only the person who made the slide knows the slide message. My suggestion is not the correct answer. There are other options. Like, there is little upside potential in manufacturing. The dark blue section of the bar shows the high estimate, and it's very small. Manufacturing will contribute 12% of new GDP. Is a more concrete restatement of the first suggestion. Or maybe the author wants to say something about oil and gas. Oil and gas will contribute 1/3 of new GDP. I don't know, you don't know. The author has the responsibility to write the slide message. A slide message will consist of information, evaluation, recommendation, or instruction. Here are a few illustrations based on the earlier examples. Information is qualitative or quantitative data, some kind of facts. Evaluation is built on data but provides an assessment. The distinction can be blurry. Providing the financial results is information, but making a forecast is evaluation of the existing information. Recommendations are normally action-oriented and are based on information, evaluation, or other recommendations. Such slide messages need careful supporting arguments. Instruction is normally treated separately, but could potentially draw on all 4 types. Here is another example. What is wrong with the existing slide message? Please stop the video and think about a better slide message. The existing slide message is a heading. A better choice would be to improve equity sales in the London market, focus resources on customers with the highest potential. If recommendation or instruction, the slide message should be action-oriented. Strengthen regional attractiveness could become assign planning responsibility to the regions. Improve financial reporting can become install a system that gives early notice. Reduce accounts receivable could become establish a system for following up overdue accounts. Here is the final exercise on slide messages. Assume you are presenting to an Indian audience. Think about a suitable slide message. Stop the video now. There are two problems with the existing slide message. Starting with a question is not good unless you want the audience to think about the answer to the question. In this case, the slide writer answers his own question. That makes the slide message unnecessarily wordy. The second problem is that the slide message is not very interesting. Again, think about the Indian audience. Here is what I think will be much more interesting. Many Indian companies do not have a realistic view of their own progress on digital manufacturing. Almost by definition, most companies cannot be ahead of their competitors. Nevertheless, 47% of Indian companies consider themselves ahead. It probably means they have inflated views on their own performance. The same is true in China, but since we are presenting to an Indian audience, we highlight the Indian example. You will never get the slide message right the first time. Here's my own progress of making the first slide in this section. Always expect several iterations before you're happy with the slide.